This is my first lab activity analysis, and I'm going to analyze the object under constant velocity. For this, I used the Newton's second law, and my assumption for force equals to 0, then the initial velocity and final velocity will be equal. And I deduce the equation, I use the equation to deduce V equals to Vf equals to Vi from Vf equals to Vi plus Fnet divided by mass times time. So the second term, Fnet by mass times time, will become 0 as we input Fnet equals to 0. And I used to analyze this assumption. I recorded a video and I put that into Tracker to get the information. So I used a plastic ball of say mass around 0.1 kilogram, and I set the axis in the negative x direction. So as you can see, when the object is moving in the negative x direction, the time and the position is being recorded. And I used the position and time data from the tracker to calculate the velocity. And I calculated the velocity as negative 1.787 meter per second. And I used the information and I recorded it in the Python to plot the graph. So as you can see, the mass is 0.1 kilogram and the initial position is 0.001. The velocity is minus 1.787 and the initial assumption of net force is 000 and the observation time is 0.767 seconds. So as you run the module, it should be moving in the negative x direction and we will get a linear graph. As you can see, the object is moving in the negative x direction and we got the desired graph. So this is a pretty good graph for my calculation and for my experiment. And I plotted the experimental versus model graph, and as you can see, the blue dotted are the model position and the red line is for the experimental data. As you can see, there is a small variation in the blue dotted line and the red line, as it may due to the frictional force and the gravitational force acting on the ball. So this is a pretty good graph and assumption for my work. As you can see, now we are going to change the assumption that we made and see what are the changes going to happen for the graph. So the initial assumption that we made is Fnet equals to 000. Now we are going to change the force acting on the object to 1 in the x direction and 1 in the y direction. And when we run the module, you can see the object is not under the constant velocity. So this is a predicted one, and the next assumption that we are going to change is for the axis. So now when we change the axis, initially we set the axis in the negative x direction. Now we are going to change that into the positive x direction. So as you can see, I have changed the negative sign there. Now I set the force also to 0, 0. Now when I run the module, you can see it should move in the opposite direction, in the positive x direction, and the graph remains same. And this is a pretty good assumption and the result for my video. So thank you for watching my video.